It's a nice day for it, isn't it? Nice day for bloody polar bears, maybe. Not for me. There's still a little bit of snow on the ground. It's just lingering, man. Like, I suppose it is like -1 degrees. I thought I'd do a video today talking about bargain cars, because you know, no matter what you do when you're buying a car, you kind of look to get as much as you possibly can for your money. So whether you compromise on higher mileage, or compromise on spec, or compromise on condition, or whatever, when you've got a budget to spend on a car, you look to get as much as you possibly can for that budget. Now we've got like a little bargain section at Binker. We've just had a little car arrive, which you've probably seen in the thumbnail. I thought we'd just go for a little wander around here, and then go for a little wander around there, and end up talking about that car and probably going for a little drive in it. All right, let's get on it. Right, let's begin our little wander around then. So I think kick it off with the E46 M3. Obviously that ain't a low budget car, they're a lot of money now, but that is the one that was on my channel recently. It's actually now sold. We took a deposit on it yesterday, so that'll be gone out of my life soon. If you are selling your E46 M3, by the way, get in contact with us, because yeah, I do like to have them in stock all the time. We've just had this Kia Proceed GT come in. It literally just arrived about half an hour ago. That's a very cool car. Never had one of them before. Very modern. Look at them lights at the bottom there. LED. It's actually high mileage. Yeah, I think that needs a separate video. Let me know in the comments below if you think I should do a separate video on that. Yeah. There's the Audi S3, which I actually took in part exchange against my RS6. I should be wishing that car a happy birthday soon. It's nearly been here for a year. We've had more phone calls on that car, ironically, than we probably have on anything on the whole bloody site, but people just seem to say, yeah, I want to come and have a look at it, and then they just don't turn up. So what is nice, in the 12 months that we've had it, they've actually gone up in value, so hopefully it will sit around for a bit longer and it will continue to rise while it's in my possession. There's the Evoque that I was sort of running around in for a little while. The M3 that I recently bought, A45, love that. This one here, I've rushed over to this car here because that is probably the cheapest M135i in the country. Talking about compromise, which is going to be the subject, or one of the talking points in this video. That car is a categorised car. It might be Cat S, I can't bloody remember if I'm honest, but that's the compromise of that car. But it is a 63 plate, it's white, it's 5-door, it's quite a nice thing. I should really do a separate video on that. Maybe. It's a manual car, and it's got the earliest steering wheel in it, which when you're driving these cars, they're not a horrible steering wheel to use, but visually they just don't look as good. So it might be worth us spending 100 quid or whatever getting a steering wheel for that. So let's go for a little wander out. There's the M3, you've seen loads of content on that. RS7, obviously this is not low budget. We're going to end up down the bargain section at the minute, down the bottom there, as we wander around. But the RS7, let's quickly talk about that actually. Some of you will notice a slight difference in this car right now, because I've just picked it up from somewhere and something has changed. To many people it'll be very obvious what's changed, and the reason why I've changed that particular thing, we won't talk about it too much, is because there's going to be a drastic change with that car. I'm sure you know what's going on with it, but the video will follow soon on that car, right? So yeah, I love it, by the way. I've been daily driving it, hence why it's filthy dirty. But yeah, look out for a video on that soon. Alfa Romeo Giulietta. It's quite cool. That's literally just come in. I think Drone's using that at the minute. Must have come in with a bit of fuel in it. He's taking advantage of it. Leon's i8, he's seen that on my channel. He's loving that. He's daily driving it. Yeah, I suppose for the budget, there ain't really much you can get for that kind of money. Myers, little Audi A1 there. That's a nice car. And then down here, if I zoom right in, see the Audi TT there. That car is a car that I've actually, just hold on, let me just keep still, there we go. Yeah, that's a car that I've actually never had in my life. I've had plenty of these, shall I say, TT turbos. That one there is a 180 brake, that one there is a 225, but I've never had one of these ones, which is a 3.2 V6, which is 250 brake horsepower. It's quite a special thing. They look visually different to the turbos. I'll zoom back out because it's all a bit all over the show, but I thought I'd dedicate a little video to the 3.2 TT. What we'll do now is let's just cut to some cinematics, yeah? Right, before we have a little look over these two cars, I thought I'd get out for a little drive first in the red TT. And the reason why I want to do that is because I want to compare the performance of these two cars, right? Obviously visually they've got differences, but statistically on paper, performance-wise, they're actually quite similar. So those that know this car already, this car is stage 1 tuned by VRS Performance in Northampton, all right? It's got 249 brake horsepower, started off life, by the way, as a 225 brake car. It's obviously a 1.8 turbo engine under the bonnet, and it's got 294 pounds-feet of torque. So statistically, or performance-wise, they're both producing almost identical power figures. What I've done is I've got my draggy box set up, which actually has a magnet on it, so I should be able to stick it on the roof and not lose it, hopefully. It feels like it's all right. For those that have never heard of Draggy before, D-R-A-G-Y, this is not a sponsored video. They should at least send me a Christmas present every year. I've mentioned them a lot on my channel. It's actually really good what they offer. It's like a little app and records your speed and stuff. So what I've done is I've set the Draggy timer up in a custom mode to record how quickly we get from 20 miles per hour to 70 miles per hour. That is the most random Draggy speeds testing thing ever known to man, probably. But my reason for doing that is, one, so I don't put the car under too much pressure as we launch off the mark. Don't want to do that. We've got a manual gearbox in this car, we've got DSG in the other car. They're old cars, don't want to do them any harm. And secondly, 70 miles per hour here in England is the speed limit on the fastest road available. So keeping it within legal terms, yeah? So what we're going to do is we're going to head over to a 70 mile an hour road. We're going to measure how quickly this car gets from 20 to 70. Then we're going to head back to Bin Car, have a look over the visuals of these two cars, and go out for a drive in the 3.2 TT. Right, ready? 3, 22, 1, go. This is a quick car. I would say we've just achieved it there. Now, I was calm with the gear changes. There weren't no erratic gear changes. It wasn't too harsh with it. Like I say, it's a trim car. I didn't want to put too much pressure on this car, and I do plan on giving this car away, obviously, on Planet Dreams at some point very soon. We'll talk about that maybe later on in the video, but if not, again in another video. But we have just done our little test, and I'll let you know what the outcome is of it right now. After several runs, I managed to get the tuned 1.8 TT from 20 to 70 miles per hour in 6.71 seconds. I'm not sure how I would have titled this video, by the way. If I'm honest, I actually didn't plan to do anything that I've done today. I just come in, I thought, you know what, this TT's just arrived, and I don't know, the day has unfolded into me comparing it to the red one. Completely unplanned, but it's made quite a cool video, I think. So yeah, I might have titled it as high mileage. I bought a high mileage TT, maybe 3.2. The mileage on that, by the way, is 170,000 miles, and then that one there has done 156,000, I think. On the open market, I think these start at about 3.5, 4 grand, and these ones are about half the price. Obviously, if you want a lower mileage car, going back to sort of compromise, if that's your budget, you've got to compromise on mileage. If you have a higher budget, you can spend as much as sort of 5, 6, 7 grand, even upwards of that, on a lower mileage version. So we do also have the 1.8 TT 180 brake car, which is parked down the bottom in the bargain corner. That car, again, if you wanted to compromise further and get a cheaper car, you'll probably find one of them, like I say, nearer the 2 grand mark. All right, so I've left them both running because I'll do a little sound check in a minute. But where do I start? Visuals. Let's talk about visuals. The front bottom, the bottom end of the splitter there looks much better on the 3.2 in comparison to the 1.8 TT. And the funny thing is, I actually really like the look of the 1.8 TT, but when you park it next to this thing here, they do look loads better. So they're both quattros as well, given away from the badge in the grille there and there. And whilst talking about the grills, you notice is there a subtle difference between the two grills? Really subtle difference between the two grills. Again, just giving the 3.2 a little bit more aggression. The bottom corner of the bumper there is again slightly different to the bottom corner of the bumper on the 1.8. And then as we wander around, the wheels on this car, like, they're actually not the most attractive set of wheels, but they really suit this car. Like, they just look so right on this car. So yeah, I like the wheels. From the side skirts and everything, it's all the same there. And as we come around the back, they're both twin exit exhausts at the rear. and the 3.2's got like a dark black, almost mesh splitter at the bottom there. The spoiler on both cars very, very similar, but again we've just got a bit of a bolder touch, like an added piece of rubber on the outer edge of the spoiler on the 3.2. So a lot more effort went into designing that car. On the interior of both cars, they're both very much alike. Yeah, nothing really to look at in there, and yeah, I don't think there's any difference bar obviously the gear changer, which is in this car linked to a DSG gearbox, whereas that's got the manual. So I think what we'll do now is sound check. Let's quickly have a little listen. Let's wander around to the 1.8 first. Ain't gonna be nothing too fancy. We're just gonna get the camera here, point it in that direction, give it a little rev. Not much exhaust note, loads of induction sound from the ram air filter under the bonnet, and it does sound very nice. Now under the bonnet of this car, obviously we've got the V6 engine, which actually makes up for almost 100 kilos more in weight. That's probably an exaggeration, but somewhere near there. So this is a slightly heavier car. Again, foot on the accelerator pedal, point the camera to the rear. Just typical V6 sound. Obviously we haven't got as much flutter or whooshing sounds coming from under the bonnet because it's naturally aspirated, but it's got that lovely V6 roar. So what we'll do now is, I think it's time to get out for a drive in the 3.2 TT. God, this video has just taken so much longer to film and sort out than it should have done. The funny thing is, the battery went dead on the red one. That's been sitting around for ages. I will get the Planet Dreams website up and running soon. For those that don't know, I'm actually giving that car away for free once my website is up and running, but we've just been prioritising other stuff, but it is on the list of priorities. All right, I want to say one thing. Obviously this car's done 170,000 miles. There is not much wear on the bolster there at all. I would say this car's been loved by the previous owners, just because it's had more than one. Let's turn that fan down a little bit, because it's got absolutely loads of service history, which is nice to see. And what else do I want to say? I want to apologise for the cars being dirty. Simple reason for that, or a couple of reasons. One, this car has literally just arrived, firstly, and secondly, the hose pipe's frozen up, the jet wash is frozen, and we've got no facilities to clean cars at the minute. All right, could defrost it. Had a busy day, so it's probably quite a bad excuse, but it sounds good enough, I think. I have got the draggy box here, so we will of course do the draggy times. In fact, before we head off, 20 to 70 mile an hour, by the way, is also quite a good time, because it's, although I'm not trying to encourage racing, you know, street racing is bad, guys, do not street race, but every now and then it does happen, I get that, and 20 to 70 mile an hour is about the speed limit or speed range that you're going to be racing in, yeah? But obviously don't do it, all right? I've done a few runs in this car. The quickest 20 to 70 mile an hour time that I done was 6.71 seconds. But you already know that, didn't you? Because I just told you. So let's move on. Let's quickly talk about the bargain corner. So if I just literally park here, that is at the bargain corner. We've got the black cab over there. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. We've got the other TT there, the 335D, which is also getting given away on Planet Dreams once the website goes live, and a few other little bits. If you want me to do any more content down there, excuse me, do let me know, all right? Let's get on the road. See, this has got obviously the automatic gearbox, dual clutch, which was like a real early version of the DSG gearbox, and I'm not sure how problematic they are. I have heard that they are a little bit unreliable, but I suppose everything that could have gone wrong with this car has gone wrong, because obviously the mileage is done. It's done 170,000 miles. I can't imagine any common faults haven't gone wrong by this point in its life. So it's got a sports mode, which is nice. It basically just allows the engine to rev up higher. It's quick. It does feel quick. Does it feel quicker though? Quicker than the 1.8. I would say the 1.8 feels quicker when the boost is on, but the problem with the 1.8 is lag. It's got a lot of lag. It's going to have a lot of lag in it. Whereas this does feel quite responsive, which is, I suppose, the nature of a naturally aspirated engine. Sound wise, it does sound really good, but it is of course nice to hear them whooshing sounds coming from under the bonnet when you've got a turbo under there. But yeah, it feels, I would say strangely, it feels like a bit more of a solid car. Obviously it's done higher mileage, but it's got kind of a solid feel to it. Maybe just because it's got a V6 under the bonnet, but yeah, that feels good, man. So what we'll do now is we've got to try and beat our time, haven't we? 20 to 70 mile an hour. Still find that quite funny, but it is a good test. We'll see if this car can beat that one on the, you know, the crack. Let's go. Right, here we go. We'll hold right back. Got the gearbox in sport mode, and we're just going to floor it at that point there. Quick, done. Did it feel faster? It felt, I would say, a bit less erratic, I suppose, because I'm not doing the gear changes myself, and a bit, it's hard to say. I'm not going to look down at the time yet. I'm going to do a few runs, and I'll check back in with you in a sec, all right? Right, mission complete. I've just done the draggy times. I've done 4 runs in total, and oh, she's got a TT as well. So the red one done it in 6.71 seconds. That's right, isn't it? And after my 4 runs in this car, I managed to get this a verified time from 20 to 70 mile an hour. Calm down, mate, calm down. This is a two-way road. Just well, I'm in a little baby TT. I managed to get this car from 20 to 70 mile an hour in 6.50 seconds. So this car is actually quicker from 20 to 70 mile an hour than the red one, which I actually thought the tuned car would be quicker, but I suppose the gearbox made up for the gap between the gear changes. Had the other car had this gearbox, that probably would have won. But on the gearbox note, what I want to point out is this has also got a manual mode, which is really nice. So you can sort of flick through the gears with the paddles in the back of the steering wheel. And I think the point is you can buy a cool car for a small budget, and that is pretty much the summary of this video. All right, so yeah, bit of a long day for me. I'd say a long day. Just what, like I said earlier, one of them videos that just takes forever to film, filming 2 cars, and you don't care, do you? That car ran out of petrol, it cut out as well. This car's showing 0 miles on the fuel range, but it is showing almost half a tank in fuel. So there's a good chance this might also run out. They do have a common fault where the dials are at fault, and I would guess that this one probably needs replacing. But the plan with this car is get it clean, get it up for sale. If you want to see more of this style of video, do let me know. Basically, I'm not buying loads in a minute. I'm just buying things that are safe to buy, that ain't going to depreciate, I ain't going to lose no money on. So if they sit around for a year like the S3 has done, I'm not going to lose no money. So this is a great example of that. I honestly think if you get a good low mileage example of one of these TTs, your money would be safe. And these things, cars of this era right now, are continuing to rise. So it's definitely a safe way to spend your money. I'm going to end it as that. Out of curiosity, I am going to do a draggy, the exact same draggy time test on my Audi RS7 on my journey home. So if you want to know what speed or what time that done from 20 to 70 mile an hour, keep watching. I'll show you that in a sec. If you are new to my channel, do hit subscribe. Do me a favour as well, hit the like button. And if you're on Instagram, slow down Calv, bend with loads of mud on it. If you're on Instagram, give me a follow on Instagram at Calvin's Car Diary, and I'll see you on my next video. Alright, bye. Blimey, that was quick, wasn't it? So the RS7 done 20 to 70 miles per hour in 3.71 seconds, which is almost twice as quick as the red TT. In the next episode of Diary of a Car Trader, guys, this car is absolutely quality. I want to introduce you to my latest purchase, a Kia Proceed GT.